We're back out here at Doak Campbell Stadium where the 2019 Florida State football team has reported to camp. They've arrived at camp. It's not like the old days. In the old days, they actually did report to camp. The guys went home for the summer. They might have got a summer job or worked out at home, hung out with their friends. Now everybody's already been here. Willie Taggart actually made that comment today that he was asked, did all the freshmen report? He's like, yeah, they've all been here. And that's how it is these days. So they did officially report today. On Thursday, preseason practice will start Friday morning. You know, Willie Taggart, I think 3 or 4 times encouraged the media to have more juice. He wanted more juice in the press conference. But I think, you know, coming off a 5-7 season, I think the juice needs to probably come out of the practice fields.
I feel like we'll if he has juice, we'll reciprocate kind of thing. If his team has juice, we'll reciprocate. And I'll be honest, I thought I brought a little bit of juice. I thought you did too. I thought the Warchant crew, by and large, kind of carried the press conference like it does each and every week. But yeah, I thought the 2 biggest things, honestly, were, I mean, it's the injury. You know, you have your best wide receiver, Terry, who's had I guess a minor knee surgery. They do expect him back, but we didn't get a timetable on when that would be. Sometime in August, you would think. And maybe even bigger news, I think, in my opinion, because I do think Terry will come back, is Minshew. That seemed a lot more up in the air.
You're a last name guy. I've
yeah,
noticed
guys,
that.
You know who I mean, Minshew.
Cole Minshew, the veteran offensive guard who, was out in the spring with a neck injury, has missed a lot of time last season. And, as you looked ahead to 2019 for Florida State, you looked at that offensive line, 2 guys that I think a lot of fans were hoping for coming into the season at the end of last spring were Landon Dickerson and Cole Minshew. Landon Dickerson is transferred out, and Cole Minshew is still not available. And when we asked for a specific on Cole Minshew, do you expect him back at some point this preseason camp? And Willie Taggart said, I have no idea. I thought I thought he'd be back in the spring. So it doesn't sound good. And that's a position where you need as much experience as you have. Those are definitely 2 of the newsier things. A couple other things as well. They did add a defensive analyst to the staff, Stanford. Well, let me add one thing on Tamari and Terry. We do think Willie didn't give a timetable, but I think we reported earlier, Gene reported yesterday, we think it's probably about 2 or 2.5 weeks. So we think he'll be back before the game week. The important thing you need to look for is he back on game week to prepare for Boise State? And we think he will be. On the staff, from a staff perspective, there's been a lot of speculation that Jim Leavitt, who was Willie's defensive coordinator at Oregon during his 1 year out there, is a former USF head coach and an NFL assistant. There was speculation he might join the staff because he's no longer coaching right now. Doesn't sound like that's happening. We asked him if anybody has been added to the staff. The only one he would confirm is Stanford Samuels Jr., a former FSU player whose son is on the team, Stanford Samuels III. But it doesn't sound like Leavitt is on, or maybe that could change. But as of right now, Jim Leavitt is not added to the staff. Stanford Samuels is a guy that you and I have, I covered him, but you've been around him as well. I mean, he's definitely another guy that, and he's been a high school defensive coordinator.
Right.
He's another guy that can help that staff.
Yeah, and when it comes to Leavitt, you would think, I don't know that, camp starts tomorrow. Like, you would think if you had somebody in line to be on your staff, these bugs. It's Tallahassee in August, baby. You would think they would already be, he's coming right at my eyes, Ira. You would think that he would already be on staff.
You think you'd be able to play through that.
It's hard, man. It's hard. It's really crazy.
But you're going to rip DeAndre Francois if he can't see the blind-side blitz.
Well, absolutely. These bugs are coming right at me. But yeah, so I would think that if Leavitt was a possibility, that, you'd want him here now. You wouldn't wait until week 3 or the second week of training camp. So yeah, I think Stanford Samuels is a nice addition. It's a guy that I think you can trust to work with your DBs. And, like we mentioned before, they only have 3 real full-time assistants on the defensive staff. So that's another guy I think that Harlan Barnett can give some duties to, and they'll actually trust what he's doing.
As far as the rest of the team, he talked a little bit about the offensive line and what he's hoping to see there. He talked a little bit about, the culture. That's still the talking point, really. Yeah. And I think it's going to be, it's kind of one of
something
until something changes on the field. And so there wasn't a lot of other breaking news out of camp. He did say that all the freshmen did report, so there were no academic casualties, it looks like, which is huge. And this is a freshman class that I think we do expect some young guys to really participate, not just the guys that came in the spring, Akeem Dent and the young linebacker Jaleel McCray, but also some of the Travis Jay and Brennan Gant and some of these other guys who are coming in preseason. So I don't know if there's any other big shocking developments, but it's just good to be back out here. The players, I think they had a barbecue today. E.J. Manuel, former Florida State quarterback, an NFL first-round pick, was in town. He actually, I think he spoke to some of the players today.
An ACC network analyst.
And an ACC network analyst. So it's just football's back, and they'll start in the morning. The other big news, I guess, it was the practice schedule was released yesterday, and there's going to be some evening practices. And
some afternoon practices and some evening practices.
That seemed to get you excited?
It did, and I brought it up last year, and you always mocked me.
I did.
But you don't play any games at 9:30 in the morning or 10 in the morning. It makes more sense to play to practice when you're going to play, and now I don't think that's going to happen during the season. There'll still be the morning practices. But it makes sense to get some 7 p.m. practices and to get some afternoon practices when it's blazing hot, because Jacksonville on Labor Day is going to be really hot. Those potato humpers up in Idaho, they don't get the chicken. Am I allowed to say that? I think I can. These guys subscribe. They're all adults. They don't get this kind of weather. They don't get used to 95 degrees with 90% humidity like it will be in Jacksonville that night. And so I do think it matters to not practice in the morning, but practice, when it's hotter.
Does your mom ever watch these videos?
Oh, of course not.
Okay.
I don't think my mom knows what I do for a living.
Well, anyway, then she doesn't know about the potato humpers. So that's good. It's good to hear. Well, anyway, we're peacing out from Doak Campbell Stadium. Thanks Aslan, Corey, Gene, and the whole crew. Austin, our intern, will all be out here Friday morning. Check out warchant.com for all of your coverage, videos, text, Twitter.
The whole thing.
The whole shebang.
The whole deal.